When we all think about Disney, the first thing that comes to mind is their movies, like Atlantis the Lost Empire, Iron Will, and Home on the Range. But they also have been part of the video game scene since the 80s and are still going strong today. Over the years, there have been great Disney games, as well as total washouts. In the early 2000s, Konami developed a series of sports games featuring Disney characters exclusively for Nintendo consoles, so I'm expecting 3 times the amount of cease and desist letters for this video. The Game Boy Advance had 6 games, however a sister series was created on the GameCube featuring only 4 of the sports. Both consoles had basketball, football, skateboarding, and soccer, while the GBA also had motocross and snowboarding added to its collection. The games most notably missing from the lineup are Disney Sports Baseball and Disney Sports Extreme Beach Volleyball. Don't lie, you know you'd play that. Disney Sports Skateboarding is the most common in the series, and the one you've probably seen while out looking for games. There are options here like Free Skate, where you skate into your heart's content, Time Attack, where you attempt to complete challenges before the time runs out, Crowd Jam, where you aim to get the crowd to love you by pulling off great moves, and Trick Attack, where you try to complete all of the challenges. You choose your character, you choose your board, you choose your stage, and then you get to skating. The tutorial here is very well done. It doesn't only tell you how to do the maneuver, but it first shows it properly being completed. And you will get used to the controls quickly. There are different objectives set throughout the areas. The clear conditions are given to you at the beginning of the stage. Complete them and you'll move on to the next. There are objects to jump, half pipes to ride, pipes to grind, and opponents to take out. Disney Sports Skateboarding is a pretty solid game. It might not be on the level of the Tony Hawk games, but there's a lot to learn and do here. Next time you see it, pick it up and give it a whirl. The controls in Disney Sports Snowboarding are on point. Your board is constantly gaining speed as you go down the course, so there's no need to always be holding down a button. Like in F-Zero, the L button is used for tight left turns, and the R button is used for tight right turns. Holding L and R together causes your character to crouch, gaining even more speed. Going off specific jumps allows you to use magic and perform tricks. Most of the playable characters are the same from the series' other games, like Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy, but snowboarding exclusively offers Chip and Dale. These 2 are my favorite Disney characters as the Rescue Rangers. The fact that each one rides in their own boot is just awesome. There's the ability to connect to another Game Boy Advance to race one another and trade boards. There's also an option to connect with a GameCube, however I haven't been able to find any information on that version, so I'm wondering if the game even came out. Leave a comment if you know anything about it. Although the controls are tight, there isn't a whole lot offered here. The game courses can become quite frustrating, especially when your opponents cheat. It's not close to the best in the series, but it does have charm. Disney Sports Football is an easy to pick up and play portable version of the popular sport. In some countries this entry is titled Disney Sports American Football. The other games in the series have a multiplayer functionality and minigames, whereas here we have a more focused single-player experience. There are a plethora of offensive and defensive formations to choose from in the game. The ample amount keeps everything feeling non-restrictive. When starting up a game, you can adjust the conventional factors like quarter amount and game time for a quick or full game playthrough. The unconventional elements, like magic and mines, can be turned on to give the game a more arcadey feel, like Brutal Sports Football. The practice section divides the different parts of the game into repeatable exercises. You can choose from offensive, defensive, kickoff, or kickoff return. Pretty much every aspect of the game besides the coin toss. Disney Sports Football will scratch the itch if you're looking for a portable football game. There isn't a whole lot of variety of football games or a version of Tecmo Bowl on the GBA, so this can become your go-to football game on the console. Disney Sports Soccer is, in my opinion, the easiest to pick up and play in the entire series. In some countries, this game is called Disney Sports Football. What we get here is a more or less straightforward game of soccer. The R button will sprint, the L button uses your special, holding L and R together causes you to jump, B passes, and A kicks on offense, or slide tackles on defense. Different cleats will give your characters various upgrades, such as the Phoenix cleat, which gives you a hotshot ability, and the Thunderstorm cleat, which gives you a Lightning Fury ability, all of which can be leveled up. They can also be completely bypassed when not desired. We can link up with 4 GBAs to play a full game together or trade. And because there's a GameCube version, you are also able to trade between the two consoles. The training is the least informative in the series as it simply puts you in a game against a team of bots. A little direction here could have gone a long way. However, we do have mini-games here like goal shot, dribble, pass, free kick, corner kick, and penalty kick that do help you learn the parts of the game. A feature worth mentioning is a spectator mode. In this mode, you can watch 2 computer-controlled teams play entire games. It might be pointless, but it can be entertaining and educational. Disney Sports Soccer is simply straight to the point and fun. Disney Sports Basketball falls somewhere in between NBA Jam and the NBA 2K series. It doesn't always live in the realm of physics and possibility, but it aims to be faithful to the sport. We still see the net get burned off, but the ball can also go out of bounds. The game is played in a 2-on-2 format and includes mini-games featuring 1-on-1, 2-on-1, 3-point contest, and free throw practice. Out of all the games in the Disney Sports series, this has the most complex gameplay. Luckily, the 20-step tutorial is very robust and will take you through the basic moves and have you playing with ease in no time. You can link up to 4 Game Boy Advances to play together, or connect to a GameCube or GBA to do trades. There are upgrades here that will give your characters a special ability. For example, the buzzer band makes buzzer shots always go in, and the fade wings make fadeaway shots worth 4 points. This game has 2 gameplay features that you don't see very often. The first is a sleep option that pauses the game, puts your Game Boy to sleep, and then allows you to pick it back up at your next convenience. The other is being able to permanently increase the character's stats. Just like in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, you are able to take your characters through a series of mini-games and train them. This results in permanent upgrades for the character. Disney Sports Basketball is a blast once you've figured out how the game is played. It's one of the best in the series, and also, it's really satisfying watching Minnie slam dunk from an alley-oop. Disney Sports Motocross is, at heart, the upgraded version of Excitebike. Just like the NES game, you press the A button for gas and the B button for turbo. Use your turbo wisely and watch your temperature gauge, because if your bike overheats, you will be temporarily stalled out. Picking up gas cans will reduce your temperature bar and allow you to use your turbo boost longer. For an added advantage, properly position your bike in front of an opponent to trip them up. You'll need to come in 3rd place or better to move on to the next race. For a detailed explanation of the fundamentals of Excitebike, I recommend playing through the NES Remix series. Motocross allows you to pick from a variety of characters, race on many unique and detailed stages, equip your bike with upgrades like different engines and shock absorbers, and collect gems to do tricks. There are 3 levels of tricks, and the number of gems that you possess will determine the type of maneuver that your character does. The results will damage opponents, increase your jump range, and award you points. Just like in the other entries, we see things like minigames, a 12-step tutorial, and multiplayer functionality. This game allows you to link up with 3 friends for racing and trading items. Disney Sports Motocross is a game that starts out easy but gets rather difficult pretty quickly. In order to complete it, you're going to have to memorize every track, collect tons of gems, watch your temperature gauge, and trip your opponents like a woman at a store-wide 90% off designer shoe blowout sale. So that's all 6 games in the Disney Sports series on the Game Boy Advance. Which have you played, and which do you want to play? What other types of videos would you like to see? I appreciate all the comments on the last video, and I'm working on the content that you guys suggested. Leave a comment, let me know, and as always, stay nerdy.
Getting your nerd on, getting your nerd on, getting your nerd on.
I got a raging nerd on.